What's good, everybody? Lucky Lefty Podcast, Anora Boys. We are in the building and brought to you by Anora Whiskey, AnoraWhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey, AnoraWhiskey.com. And Left, I hope celebrating your birthday this weekend, and when you drank, you made sure that you drank
responsibly.
Let's get it, Left. Lucky Lefty Podcast. I am Sean Davis, SD2 Mics, that dude, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik ZAIRE. We are brought to you by Anora Whiskey, AnoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, AnoraWhiskey.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. It helps with the views. Leave your comments and questions. We respond to all. If you have a super chat or a GTB question, put it in right now so we can get to it immediately. We are courtesy of Bleav Network, and we are presented by FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app, and what you'll find is that Notre Dame is the odds-on favorite to win the national championship, and of course, starting quarterback C.J. Carr is the betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. You can find that and much more over at FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. Yo, happy belated birthday, Left.
Here we go. Getting across the 30 path. 30 more.
Man, I remember that, bro. That birthday for me, my wife threw me a surprise party at Timothy O'Toole's downtown.
Oh, you remember like that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember my 30th. I remember my 40th. I remember my 45th. And I'll definitely remember my 50th because my pops passed away 3 months before I turned 50. So, yeah, I remember all of my milestone joints.
That's awesome, man.
My 21st birthday, I almost got knocked out by a dude on the dance floor because I drank one too many Long Islands at the Park West. Yeah, so my boys for my 21st birthday, my boy A-Trey, shout out to my boy A-Trey, Aaron Walker, that lives out there. I think he still works for BET, works out there in LA. We were at the Park West, and he said, I'm getting you drunk tonight, because they knew I didn't really drink.
Right.
They were like, you getting drunk tonight. And I'm like, all right, man, whatever. So he just ordered something and said, here, drink this.
Got you the strongest one.
And so, dude, when I tell you I downed it, whoever made it fantastic. Yeah, they made it fantastically. And I literally, like 5 minutes later, I was like, give me another one. And he looked at me like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, give me another one.
Because he's in the mall now.
No, I do. I didn't. You know how you taste alcohol in a drink?
You broke the seal.
I didn't taste it. It wasn't like, it just tasted like sweet tea. I'm telling you, whoever made it did a fantastic job.
It was sweet, all right. It got you right.
You're right.
It was sweet tea for sure.
I never forget, we're at the Park West, and I'm walking around the dance floor, and all of a sudden I look up, and the ceiling was literally spinning, bro. It was spinning. Yeah. And I just so happened to see a young lady that we knew, shout out to Tisha, my girl Tisha, and she was dancing with a dude. So imagine me walking in between her and this dude on the dance floor. And I looked at the dude and I said, bro, I apologize in advance, but I really need her right now. And she looked at me and she was like, yo, what's wrong? And I was like, yo, I just need to get to the table, because we had a table. And she walked me to the table.
Man, you gotta get the stable ground.
She walked me to the table, and my girl Jennifer Davis, I went to grammar school, high school, and college with Jennifer Davis. Shout out to her. And she let me sleep it off. I literally put my head on her lap for like an hour, and she let me sleep it off. She was sweet as pie that night, bro. Sweet as pie. In the middle of a party, I'm knocked out on her lap. It was the craziest. And when I woke up, I was cool. I literally drove home that night.
I don't know how.
I don't either. But you didn't have, man, never again. I've never had a Long Island iced tea ever again. Ever. Never, ever, bro.
Wow.
Never, ever. Lucky Lefty podcast. So today, as you can see, I'm here in the office, man, getting ready for Bible class tonight. And so we missed you guys yesterday because Left was still celebrating his birthday, but we wanted to tap in before we give you a full battery of shows. Miles Boykin is going to join us, I believe either Thursday or Friday here on the show. He recently retired from the NFL, and he's going to jump on with us and talk some Notre Dame football, talk about his performance at the NFL Combine. He stole the show when he went to the Combine. So we'll talk about that. His time at Notre Dame, his time in the pros, what he expects to do now after football, which I'm sure he's going to do wonders, you know, being the Notre Dame man that he is. And he's from Chicago, so that's enough said right there. So we'll talk to Miles this week. But Left, what's your thoughts about, before we get to Jeremiyah Love, Jadarian Price, and Emil Wagner, Billy Schroff, and Eli Raridan, and Malachi Fields? What's your thoughts on the NFL Combine? Do you feel like the Combine is still a big deal outside of the NFL?
I think it's always a great entertainment piece for people who aren't as in tune to the sport, just because you get to see a variety of different athletes, man. And I think the testing of the freaks, when you see the big guys run fast and you see them do all the things, and the stories that come out of the media day of these guys always are interesting and are viral. Just plays into the lore of the NFL. Notre Dame wise, I thought we showed up in a pretty consistent way. Eli had a great day. Jeremiyah Love obviously was the main guy. They talked about Price a lot. So Notre Dame was well and in charge in that day.
What stood out to me was, and I don't know if they have recalibrated the clocks, but like everybody ran fast. Everybody ran fast, bro. Usually the cornerbacks, I remember a long time ago, the cornerbacks would run much faster than the wide receivers. And now the wide receivers ran faster than the cornerbacks, I believe, on average. Then you had the running backs. You had Mike Washington Jr., who ran sub 4.4. I think he was like 4.32. J Love was 4.36. Jadarian ran 4.49. You know, you had a bunch of other running backs that were sub 4.5. So the speed that was on display. And shout out to, I talked to our guy, Sonny Styles Sr., and just told him congratulations, bro. I told him congratulations. I told him your boy showed out. We laughed about it. And, you know, I just hit him with the
fast, though. We knew those guys was fast.
I hit him with the, yo, where was that 4.26 at when he was in South Bend, though, dog?
For real.
And we both got a laugh out of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like somebody put a clip on that first play or Marcus Freeman's first game when Tyler hits Lorenzo Styles, and you think he's going for a touchdown, and he eventually gets caught by two Buckeye defenders. Just goes to show you, man. But congratulations to both of those dudes, man. You know, that was a huge day for Lorenzo Jr. to kind of up his stock and give himself an opportunity to be a late day 2 possibility.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I mean, a 4.2 is different now.
That's different, bro.
You ain't talking about people ran fast. They ain't run no 4.2s.
4.2. is crazy. 4.26 is crazy. Sonny at 240 something, running a 4.46. Man, let me tell you something, bro. And I think his vert was like 43 and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's, man, we are seeing a different type of athlete, bro. And is that about these youngsters, 7th and 8th grade? Because I told you, man, my guy Jared Payton, his son is in 7th and 8th grade, and he goes to this cryo center, a center out by their house in the northern suburbs that's strictly for athletes to come and ice down, bro. Like, that's the entire business.
Wow.
Just icing athletes down. And I just think there's so much information out there for these youngsters, whether it's training, eating, diet, taking care of your bodies, to whereas, they were using Marshawn Sales, the 5-star wide receiver in the 2027 class out of Indianapolis. They were putting his 40 from one of the camps he went to next to some of the NFL guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, these kids now, man, are so much further ahead than even when you were going through this process, Left. I think they're just athletically light years ahead of where you guys were even a decade ago. It's really crazy.
No, I agree. I think just the level of athleticism has just gotten there, man. Like, I thought Jalen was a freak, but Jalen would be in the middle of the pack with some of these numbers, and it's just crazy to see that as the game advances on the field, it advances off the field, and at the same time, it's requiring the game to change in ways where we haven't seen. You look at Seattle and how they have their structure defensively. You got hybrid players like Devin Witherspoon that can play just about anything out there. So he's blitzing, he's playing coverage, he's playing man, he's playing zone. So, it's less of, you just being a great man corner. Mm-hmm. And, it trickles down even to recruiting. I said, 2 years ago, how Marcus Freeman was first to be recruiting these two-way guys. Like, you got to at least play both sides of the ball to make Notre Dame, to even get the film looked at. All the film we've looked at the last couple of days outside of quarterbacks is guys playing both ways. You wasn't doing that in 2015. It was a nuance to put CJ Prosise from safety to running back and him be successful. And then after that, you got a Xavier Watts, you got a MALIK, you got all these guys that are Emil Wagner's, you got two-way guys that become useful when injuries happen on a roster that gets depleted as the season goes on. And Notre Dame's, a lot of their success when we went to the championship was having such a deep roster of guys that can step in and be just as good, if not as the guy that was before him. That was different. And so now you're seeing how that's impactful at the next level. It's just really, and then you see guys like Xavier Watts that flourish. Is it because he played both ways that he becomes more instinctual or whatever? I don't know. But it seems to be that he found the right spot after testing different things out. And I think great coaching puts players in those positions. So Notre Dame seems to be finding his way in doing that. I mean, I don't see too many programs where we've made stars out of players from other positions.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Hart, is an example. Xavier Watts, you got Emil, you got MALIK was somewhat of a receiver. You got, Miles Boykin going from tight end to receiver, and then Joe Alt going from tight end to tackle, and just the ways that we do it. CJ Prosise from safety to receiver to running back, and then you get Amir that goes from slot receiver to power ride running back somehow. Not all of them were good, but But the ability to have fluidity with that, because you have great recruitment, because you're taking guys that were too. I remember the first time it popped to me was when we saw the Brandon Hillman kid that went to Michigan, where he played quarterback, safety, receiver. He was doing it all. And I was like, dang, that might be the next phase of recruiting. Just put him somewhere. You know, you get your main pieces, you get a quarterback, get a O-line, and then you just play with the rest of it. So I'm not surprised to see that develop in the NFL.
Yeah, I think we're seeing I was about to say seismic. I think we're seeing a considerable shift. And what I mean by that is now something that remember the in-home visit used to be very important. You really close the deal with the in-home visit in recruiting. And now the in-home visit is almost used as the introduction during the contact period. And now the official visit is the closer. And I'll tell you something else that I see trending. You know, we talked about how these kids are more athletic. These kids have more information now. And they know coming even now, say the 27 kids are locking in their official visits before they even lock in their spring visits. So they're locking in 2 to 3 official visits left. And then they're using the spring visits to go see the other 8 teams to see who's going to get the remaining 2 to 3 official visits out of those 8 teams. Like the process is totally different now because they have so much information now and there's so much accessibility that these young men have, whether it's 7-on-7, knowing coaches, knowing all of these different recruiters, and then the agents doing a lot of leg work as well for these top players. To whereas now they have information and they really don't have to waste time. Their families don't have to waste trips. And, you know, it's a different game. It's a different game. And I think that's why this year, I don't know if the pot of gold is going to be as important as it has been in previous years, because we've seen Notre Dame handing out offers like crazy over the last 2 weeks. They're not waiting for March 17th, which, you know, I think a lot of fans are kind of sad about that because March 17th was a day where everybody just kind of took a step back and Notre Dame dominated social media that entire day and really dominated the headlines in recruiting on March 17th. But the Fighting Irish staff, you know, with the 2 new hires in the recruiting room, some new analysts, they've kind of shifted gears. And maybe they are anticipating or have seen some of the shifts and changes. And they're saying we need to make sure we get these offers out a little bit earlier and make an impact, you know, and they're being more aggressive. A change in staff means that you are bringing in evaluations, different evaluations, and kids that they believe should be on the board for the Fighting Irish that weren't necessarily on the board, possibly with the coaches that departed. So it's an interesting time for Notre Dame. It's an interesting time for the talent in Notre Dame. And I think the last thing I'll say about the weekend down in Indianapolis is that I really believe that it's a real question whether or not Jeremiyah Love is top 5. I think it's a very big question whether or not teams 6 through 10 now have to wonder what they're going to do to move up, possibly, or have to move up, because, you know, you thought the Saints and Chiefs probably thought they were safe going into the NFL Combine, sitting at 8 and 9 in the draft. They both have great needs at running back, and they were probably thinking to themselves, look, man, just do what you do, and we'll be sitting here waiting on you. And now I think, you know, the draft begins possibly at 3 with the Cardinals. I think the Giants and the Giants and the Commanders at 4 or 5 are definitely possibilities. It's going to be interesting, man. This is a very awkward draft. There's only one true top 10 quarterback in Fernando Mendoza, and I think he has questions. A lot of other people don't, and that's fine. I don't think he's a bust. I think he has a really high floor. I think he has a really high floor as a quarterback. And I think he's one of those quarterbacks where you'll look up 5-6 years from now and he'll be blossoming, hopefully because someone was patient with him and allowed him to grow. So that's why I think he's going to come in. But you don't have any big time offensive tackles. You have 2 linebackers from the same school, possibly going in the top 10. The defensive back class is really not stellar at the top. But defense is going to be drafted heavily early in this draft. That's what I take from the combine. Defense is going to be drafted heavily in this class. And I wonder, with that, do we start to see a shift of defenses kind of catching up with these offensive geniuses in the NFL over the next 2 to 3 years because of the talent? Last year, there was a lot of defensive talent. This year is even more defensive talent. And heck, Leonard Moore is going to be part of the defensive talent in the first round next year. And a lot of other Notre Dame guys could join him. So we could be seeing a shift, like you said, from high school, college, all the way up to the NFL. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Go over to FanDuel, FanDuel.com, download the FanDuel app, and what you will find, as we said before, Notre Dame is the odds-on favorite to win the national championship, and C.J. Carr, starting quarterback for the Fighting Irish, is the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. You can get your MLB. That's right, almost just under a month away from opening day. We got the World Baseball Classic coming up. I saw Team USA with a scrimmage today and an exhibition today. And your win totals, your odds for the World Baseball Classic, you can find all of that and much more over at FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com or simply just download the FanDuel app. All right, let's talk about the Notre Dame performances at the Combine. And we have to start with one, Jeremiyah Love. We have to. The young man was absolutely incredible. Everybody talks about the 4.36, which was funny. He runs a 4.37 on his first run, ladies and gentlemen. And his father, Jay Love, I spoke to him this weekend as well. Very proud father, man. Incredible to watch him experience that for his son or with his son. And he was disappointed with the 4.36. I mean, the 4.37. Jeremiyah comes back and runs a 4.36. And he shook his head on that one like, yeah. And I'm like, yo, it's only 1/100th off his previous time. But it was almost like, is that the number he felt like he was going to hit? It's like, no, right. You're a 4.36. You're not a 4.37. I'm like, man, all I saw was dollar signs. I was like, yo, he doesn't even have to run after the 4.37. To be honest, when I saw he ran 4.37, because I wasn't around the TV, I was following it on social media. And as soon as the NFL put it up on their social media feed that he ran 4.37, I was like, oh, he's good. He doesn't have to do anything else.
Nothing else. And I think that that just highlights how he's just a combine performer. A lot of guys these days, even in high school, they're so afraid to run the 40 because of the weight in which it means. And, especially with social media being out there, if it gets word that you're slow, you just immediately fall off the radar. And, I went to a combine, like 200 guys, and we lucky to get 30 or 40 to run it. The 30 or 40 that's running are fast, though. That's the thing. They want to run it. So Jeremiyah Love is obviously the guy that wants to be in these kind of settings because this is his background in just running form and speed, and that attributes to why some of his greatest talents on the field are breakaway speed and agility and straight line speed as well. So things like this is his everyday. It's probably a part of his training process. And so I didn't think that this would be something he would shy away from, or be too good for, like a Saquon Barkley who just didn't do it at all. And he didn't need to. Jeremiah Love didn't need to. And for him to be getting the attention he was before he even ran the 40, he didn't need to go out there. But for him to have the confidence to just put a cherry on top, I think he does the hard things that will result in the easy accomplishments of him being a day one. There's not the wild questions and stories like you hear about other potential top 10 guys like Caleb Downs or Mai Lemon, where they're just nitpicking, but with Jeremiah Love and him being just a spectacular guy, he's not going to be too good for you to have the room to come up with a story. He ran 40, he did good. Answered the media things, he did good. I'm sure he did good in the team private meetings as well. A guy that, for Notre Dame's perspective and sake, is clearing the board. When's the last time a Notre Dame guy has taken over the combine the way Jeremiah Love has? And we've had great guys be in the combine, a Kyle Hamilton, a Xavier Watts, Benjamin, all of that. But to be the main storylines and headlines, that does a good thing for Notre Dame. They love to say we never put nobody in the NFL that's worth anything. Well, you're not seeing a bunch of Georgia, LSU, Ohio State, Florida stars. You're seeing Notre Dame being the, perceptionally the most athletically gifted. When's the last time Notre Dame got a credit for that? Tim Brown? Well, we had not a guy that went to Georgia that's running a 4.2, not a guy that's at Alabama that's freakishly athletically gifted. Notre Dame has the freakishly athletic gifted prize of the draft, and that's high respect to where we are in the development and recruiting and changing the narrative. Nobody believed we could do that when we had Brian Kelly. They're like, yeah, you snuck a couple guys in, whatever, but they don't get talked about outside. No, but this guy's talked about. And that's something that's an underrated accomplishment for Marcus Freeman, because he can say, hey, we may be getting there on the field, but off the field, all the things that y'all used to talk about, I'm doing it. Y'all 4.2 fast, freakish athletes that go to these SEC schools and Ohio State and all that. Well, look at that. We got the one that everybody's talking about this year. When has that happened? Recruits can't say, I don't want to be the first, or I want to be around other guys. Well, we're showing you. We got other guys. Eli Raridan with 2 broken knees was fast and jumped far and all of that. Hey, Jadarian Price, we already know he's going to Seattle. I just can't see another team that picks him up. That just makes the most sense. I don't know. I mean, I feel like their job is easy this year. And then obviously you got Malachi Fields and all of that, but I'm just impressed that guys can stand out individually on a national level, rivaling all the freaks that everybody hears about from the schools that get the quote unquote all the 5 stars.
You want to hear an amazing stat that I heard after the weekend? Jeremiah Love has 36 career touchdowns at Notre Dame left. That's pretty good, right?
It's pretty good.
36 career touchdowns. Rushing touchdowns, that is. 42 overall, because he has 6 receiving touchdowns. On the 36 rushing touchdowns, Jeremiyah Love is averaging 24.6 yards on his touchdowns. I'm going to say that again. The young man has 36 career rushing touchdowns at Notre Dame. On those rushing touchdowns, he is averaging 24.6 yards per carry. That's insane. So about 3 weeks ago, when we did a show, and I said it's not even close. Like, he's the best running back I've ever seen. I've laid my eyes on at Notre Dame. The best. It's not even close. And everybody's like, oh, wait a minute. I'm like, all right. You look at the numbers. The numbers he's put up per carry, because he shares snaps with another first-round back. Let's not act like he hasn't been sharing snaps and spotlight with a really good running back as his running mate. He's doing this while sharing snaps. The efficiency, the athleticism, the explosiveness, and he's still scratching the surface when it comes to learning the position and learning how to be patient. Someone else said he has the best jump cut I've seen since LaDainian Tomlinson. It's that young man, in so many ways, stole the show in his workouts, whether it was going through the drills, running routes, running the 40s, vertical jump, broad jump. And he stole the show in all the interviews. Teams came away just, Left, why are teams astonished that Notre Dame dudes interview well? Did we not just watch the incoming freshmen? We just watched the incoming freshmen and how well they were able to deal with their first media session. And people are shocked that a young man from Notre Dame wowed every team that he met with. And this is the craziest thing. I have to say cap to Jeremiyah Love, because immediately in the aftermath, he was on the Rich Eisen show.
Yeah.
And he told Rich Eisen that he wants to play special teams in the NFL. And Rich Eisen was like, what do you want to do on special teams? And he said, I want to be a gunner on punt coverage. And Rich Eisen said, I can tell you right now that that's not going to happen. You'll never play a down on special teams in the NFL. He's like, why not? I'm like, Jay Love, it's not happening, bro.
Man, just
relax.
But I think that's cool though, because I think it's hard for the country to put most athletic and got the other side to it. Usually they put, okay, he's multi-athletic, we give him a pass, whatever. But they can't handle that it's out of Notre Dame. That's what it's not that he's not a good prospect and can interview well. It's the fact that it's out of Notre Dame. They're like, oh, he's so good at interviews, you're only taking notice because the athleticism got your attention. Julian Love had great interviews. Super Bowl champion. 10-year vet. Great interview process. But he didn't have the first round numbers. So he didn't have that main headlines at media day and talked about with Rich Eisen and all of that. He didn't have that. But the interviews was always there. That's why Julian is still in the league. They like him. They can trust him. He looks trustable. So, but that's how Notre Dame guys stick in general. You get a Matthias Farley who get 7 years in the league, Isaac Rochelle 8 years in the league. You get James Anawalu hanging around the league for 5 years, a Cole Luke hanging because they got good interviews. Notre Dame going to teach you how to survive in the job market now. You know, Notre Dame football just happens to be a sport, but it's still a job market. They're going to teach you how to, you know, network and not so much what to say, but be profound in what you're saying.
Yeah.
Have some substance. Guys like Jeremiah Love as a solidified top 10 pick because they can talk to him. I mean, we clearly see how nitpicky the NFL can be when you look at a guy like Jeremiah Love, a top 10 guy, and a guy like Mai Lemon, a top 10 guy. Just nitpicky. They eating his interviews up. Now, they were a little off. I ain't never seen that. I
don't know if they were a little off, Left. They were special. Lemon was very special last week.
I get Concepcion, you know, the stuttering thing, you know, I get that. The Makai thing, I don't know what condition that is. I don't know if it is. I don't know. Nerves or whatever, but that was.
He looked like he was on lean.
How you gonna
keep it a buck?
How you gonna say that, SD?
The man looked like this is what we do on
SD?
Podcast. That man went to the NFL Combine and messed around with some lean the night before.
SD, how that even possible? SD, SD, your top 10 pick, man. You can't be going.
Hey, I'm just
that.
telling you, man.
Something was
before he went up for interviews. He had a red cup somewhere. He had a red cup somewhere.
Man, something was wrong with that brother out there, man.
Maybe he wants to drop.
Maybe
he wants to go to a good team.
What's the strategy, SD? Is that the strategy?
Dude, what other reason would you approach? What other reason would you have that approach for the biggest job interview of your life?
I can't imagine. Because you can't say he looked nervous because it didn't look like nerves.
And even with even high, he showed Leonard Moore love.
Yeah.
You can't convince me that Mai Lemon was not under the influence of something. Maybe it was some meds. I don't know what it was.
First of all, shout out Leonard Moore. He keeps getting brought up in all type of interviews from the right people. Jeremiah Smith. Leonard Moore is the toughest matchup. Mai Lemon. Leonard Moore is the real deal. But Leonard Moore just chilling in his dorm room like, my goodness, the drive gonna be good for me. I might as well hang my cleats up right now. They doing my job for me, SD. All I'm gonna do if I'm Leonard Moore, I'm playing them interviews. Oh, you taking Jeremiah Love number one? Okay, just play his interview for my combine meeting. He'll tell you. You ain't gotta ask Coach Freeman. What Mai Lemon say on the podium? Oh, okay. I'm still in college. I'm still playing under Notre Dame NIL territory. If I'm Leonard Moore, I wouldn't even say. I'd go up to the combine and be like, what y'all gotta ask me? They already told you a year ago. They had told you years ago. I don't gotta answer nothing. Go check previous podcasts. Don't even watch the tape. Check the podcast of your favorite players from a year ago. That's why I'm here. Leonard Moore got the smoothest ride to a first round.
Easy top 10. Easy.
They done put so many graphics of him being pro football focused, best corner. He already
Notre Dame can literally do a promo video with statements from the opposition.
From statements of the best players from the best teams of the opposition.
Literally next year, just put video up of Jeremiah Smith, who's probably going to be a top 3 pick in next year's draft. Hey, and then wait a minute. Matter of fact, go down to Miami.
Yeah.
Ask Malachi Tony about that second half when they put Leonard Moore on him. Go ask Malachi Tony about those third downs when Leonard Moore was on them.
See, I have never seen it. SD, a guy that's not even in the draft gets so much praise from guys in the draft. That's the easiest first round I've ever seen.
And shout out, because the Notre Dame media is they're not being petty, but it's like Notre Dame media is just at the NFL Combine, like trying to find anybody with a Notre Dame connection, right? They were asking Carnell Tate about the Notre Dame transfer wide receivers. I can't fault them because I asked them the same thing over the phone. So via text, I asked the same thing. So it's just amazing, man, to hear that. I think Emil Wagner, Eli Raridon, and Billy Schrauth had okay performances. They were okay. I didn't like the power numbers for Emil Wagner, but that was a problem for him, right? The problem was, could he anchor at tackle? Could he keep on weight? But smart as a whip. Had like one of the best combine media interviews probably in the last 5 years. If you missed it, go watch it. Find it on YouTube. His entire media session was absolutely incredible. And I see why people in the program think he has a chance to be a president moving forward. Like, he handled that. His media session was presidential.
It was.
It was presidential. Billy Schrauth, you look at him, you're just like, yo, I still don't think he's 100% healthy. So I think when Billy Schrauth's just going to be that typical Notre Dame 10 to 12 year veteran, multiple Pro Bowls. That's just who he is, bro. Eli Raridon is going to be that typical Notre Dame tight end that comes in, productive, probably one of the top 10 to 15 tight ends in the game. It's just going to be about health for him. He ran 4.62 left. At his size, you're talking about a kid 6'5", 6'6", 200, close to 250, running 4.62. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I think it kind of gets thrown to the wayside when you have, the tight end from Oregon running 4.38. It's like, God, dog, like you got tight ends in the group running sub 4.4. That's bananas.
It's a fast game now, man.
It is.
Because these are guys that you talking about aren't necessarily going to be the impact their first year. So this is a guy that's just on the roster. Maybe second string, maybe rotating guy, maybe playing special teams, but he's running a 4.4. Like, that's just...
Man.
That's why NFL's different. These same guys, yeah, they going to get picked up. They may not be Rob Gronkowski, but they made a special teams guy in number 57 or something that you forgot was a tight end in high school or in college running a 4.4. And you like, oh, he's different.
Yeah.
And he ain't touching the ball. He only making one tackle a game. That's why the NFL is different. You got guys on the roster who aren't making a huge impact with elite traits. That's crazy.
Makes you say, like, what the heck is wrong? That's why I believe there is, there's just flat out track speed, and then there's football speed. I think football speed is very much tapped into intangibles, anticipation, and other things that allows players to play much faster than what they might clock when they're just running in a workout. And then there are some guys like Jeremiyah Love that's just like, yo, what you see on the track is what you see on the field.
We doing
it. Dude, Saquon. Now, I have to call cap on this because I heard this multiple times this weekend. People saying that Saquon was the back that shifted everything. That's cap. Zeke was the back. Zeke was the back.
Wait, was Todd Gurley first? Because I would say Todd was first, then Zeke. Because Zeke's
that might be fair. That might be fair. That's a good call.
Zeke was probably more pivotal because he had the spotlight with Urban and all that stuff.
He went to the Star, and he went to Dallas.
Yeah, and he went to Dallas. But when the Rams moved to LA, Todd, for that brief moment
before he got hurt,
when they were playing the Chiefs and the Chiefs were coming up, I thought he changed the game in that because he was big. Because Zeke was big and fast.
Yeah.
Todd was big and fast, but he was first and he could catch. So I think Zeke just plays. I mean, some guys, the name alone just make it just story.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, what a name, Zeke Elliott, like that,
J Love is a name.
J Love, like that's it. Just you got two of them at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, too important. I mean, J Love got a lot to say. He's like, I know y'all love Jeremiyah Love right now, but dang it, I won a Super Bowl, guys. The first J Love. What's up?
Jadarian, 449 in the 40. Strength numbers, dude. You just look at how well Jadarian's put together. You knew bench press wasn't going to be a problem. You knew broad jump.
If he wasn't at Notre Dame, he would be a bigger name. And that's saying a lot from a guy who was the biggest name at the time.
Yeah.
Jadarian Price is just flying under the radar only because he was that close to Jeremiyah Love, and they're both special. You got to be pretty special for Jadarian Price to be secondary to you. You know what I mean? Like, I just think if Jadarian was anywhere else, he would be highly talked about.
So I think all six guys did well. Malachi Fields needed to run 4.4. Running in the 4.5s didn't help.
He was never fast, though.
Yeah, he's first of all, I wonder if Jadarian is going to work out. Jeremiyah Love has already said, I'm not working out at Notre Dame's pro day.
He don't got it. What? Man, he need to go there and kiss babies and shake hands.
Like, I'm not working out. Well understood. No problem. Right? Hopefully he comes so that the Notre Dame media can get one last chance.
That's it. Yeah.
To talk to him. Yeah. And to support the other guys.
Cheer on you guys and all that.
Absolutely. Jadarian,
Jadarian shouldn't go again.
Yeah, 4.49. That's good enough, bro.
What does he need?
Did you see his feet on the on-field?
Yeah, I'm like, what does Jadarian really need to do?
Nothing.
Nothing. The man,
absolutely nothing.
To be where he is, he's as good as you can get. For a back, I don't even want to keep saying backup, but for a 1B guy, he has done beyond of what you could ask for.
Yeah.
And if anything, somewhat of a better fit for the league. If you could just be a co-star your whole career, you will last probably 25 years.
Let me tell you something who bossed up this weekend. When I saw that picture of Dawan Cider at the combine with both of his Penn State running backs and both his Notre Dame running backs.
Best picture he could ever have as a coach.
I was like, that's gangster.
Best picture he could ever have.
Take that picture with you on the recruiting trail.
Everywhere.
Whenever a running back comes in for a visit, point to that picture right there. You see that right there?
You see that? That's what I did.
That's me.
That's what I did.
Yes, sir.
Back-to-back years, different schools. What you want? All of them there. I took 4 there from 2 different schools. And
that was crazy.
A dope Walker. What's up?
Yeah.
Now, I inherited the second group, but it's all good. It's all good. I was there. They did my individual drills. That counts. But man, Dawan Cider don't. Man, what his resume is too good.
Yeah.
Now he need to follow it up, which unfortunately, how you gonna follow that up? You got Dawan Cider is having his Dabo Sweeney moment. You just get 3 all-time greats.
Mm-hmm.
SHAUN, Trevor, Taj Boy just fall in your lap like good grief. Now are we going to get a Cade Klubnik situation, Mr. Cider? Good, but not where you needed to. I'm not gonna say it's bad. So is Cade Klubnik, Deshaun, or Trevor level? He's good, I guess. No.
He's not.
And it's not Dabo's fault, but dang it, you're gonna have to make something of that room. Now the good thing is you got all the pieces. I like Nolan James. I don't know nothing about him, but I like him.
Left, are you available to throw to Malachi Fields for the pro day?
I thought CJ was gonna do it.
Is he? CJ's gonna be in the midst of practices. Do you think they're gonna let CJ throw to him in the middle of spring practice?
Man, I would love to go.
Yeah, hit him up. Tell him you're available, Left. You were just out there at the Elite 11 throwing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know what they look like. Look, I saw Brady Edmonds. That's the number 1 guy, right? I saw what he looked like. I'm throwing like that.
If he can run a good 40, redeem himself, Malachi Fields, that is, I still think he's a second-round wide receiver. I still think he has a chance to be a second-round wide receiver.
Malachi Fields, you need to get in a good spot, man.
You ain't lying.
Fit is everything when it comes to him because it's like
the system, yeah, you're right.
Got elite nothing, so it's just he's a good receiver. If he like the Packers, you just get to the Packers and you just a young group.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Everybody else, you might be all right. You know what I mean?
Do you think Lamar could use him in Baltimore?
He's not gonna carry the group enough to highlight Lamar. Lamar is in a weird situation. He needs receivers to highlight him, which means he needs receivers at the level of his talent, and that's hard to find.
Let me ask you a question. If the Eagles move off of A.J. Brown, can he be the big receiver for them?
Lamar's such an interesting guy because he's so talented that he like his gravity.
No. Let me rephrase that because I had moved on to the Eagles. Can he go to the Eagles? I'm talking about Malachi Fields. If they move on from A.J. Brown, it'd be the big physical receiver to complement Devontae Smith.
Oh, that would be really nice. Really nice because he ain't got, 1, the ego. He can't. But 2, he's not as, I think he's a poor man version of, he'll get to A.J. Brown. He's not there yet physically, but I think that'll be perfect for Jalen to mold. Because I think Jalen just a personality type. He need that he need to be that big bro role. And I think Malachi Fields fits that archetype of AJ that Jalen can be like, oh, get under my wing, so to speak. And that'll boost Jalen up, which will help. I think he'll be a good fit. And then you add Devontae in there for experience and all of that. Great fit for the Eagles if they were to move on from A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown just too much of it. He need a Lamar, I think that would be his upgrade, interestingly enough.
A.J. to the Ravens?
Because Lamar needs a personality at receiver that's at the talent level that can hold his gravity. Like LeBron just going to suck the life out of potential of other guys. But that's just his career. I mean,
It's just who he is.
Just what he is. is gonna suck the gravity out of it. So you gotta be at the stage in life to be accepting of that, to feed off of that. And I think Malachi Fields will fit because he fit into a situation in a 1 year quasi new quarterback, but he's good. He just need like Lamar need. He just need a talent to show, okay, I can hold it down, but I need the leadership.
Yeah. Let's get to a couple of GTB questions from my boy Johnny 53. Most drafts have J Love going to Saints at 8 or 9. At the Chiefs, do you see a team moving up to take him earlier in the first round? We kind of talked about that. Draft really starts around 4. I think if the Chiefs and Saints want to move up, I think going from 8 to 4 or 5 is.
Pat only be talking about receivers. He ain't never talk about no running backs.
Pat need to shut the heck up.
He only talks.
That's why he's at the crib in that rehab center that he built at the crib.
Yeah, that palatial estate he got at home. That 70,000 square foot crib with the like you said, with all the rehab stuff you need.
Dude, they're talking like, oh, you know what would be gangster though? What if the Chiefs signed Kyler Murray to a 1-year deal, knowing
he ain't got the ego for it?
I mean, you talking about somebody to resurrect your career.
He thinks he's bigger than Pat. Come on, man.
Who? Does he?
Kyler think he's bigger than Pat. Come on,
if you're right, you would know.
He probably go in first day in the locker room, call Pat Lil Bro. For real, he probably, what's up, Lil Bro? Because I just feel like that's Kyler. I'm exacerbating, but I can only imagine. I mean, he put out a press release talking about, like a goodbye letter before the release came out. So, I mean, whatever. Anyway, I think that Kyler would be good in that situation. I just don't think his ego would be.
It'd be perfect for him.
If he blow up, because if I'm the franchise, I'm like, listen, I don't want Pat to play next year just because.
No,
he don't need to. That's the guy. He the future. I don't even want to take a. I'm like, Pat, chill on your money. We gonna pay you your money. We know you gonna make it up. We gonna build the roster. Bring Kyler in for the sideshow, but he gonna do good under Andy and go somewhere else with a big one for some more money. Where he gonna go to Jets? Come on, man. He go to the Jets. He gonna be sitting at home on the podcast with me in 2 years. In 2 years, we're gonna invite Kyler Murray on the show if he go to the Jets. I'm gonna call it right now. Is he gonna be free?
Yeah.
He gonna be on the couch with Justin Fields. Don't go to the Jets, Kyler, please.
Another GTB question. What do you hear about the rumors saying that Max Crosby might be heading to the Bears?
I think the personality fits.
I think it got very interesting today for the Bears because the Bengals are going to release Trey Hendrickson. So Trey Hendrickson wouldn't cost you draft picks if you're the Bears.
And he's down the street.
And he's probably going to be cheaper in the end than Max, who you're probably going to have to. No. Max is going to command another. Trey Hendrickson is like in his 30s, bro. Max is getting another big
30.
No. How old is Max? Trey Hendrickson is older than Max, I believe.
Max in his 30s because Max was before me. He was right when Roback was in there.
Oh, now since you done broke the 30 seal, boy,
Yeah, he older than me. So Trey Hendrickson demanding the same money. That's why Cincinnati got to let him go. Cincinnati cheap.
You might be right. I don't know why I thought Max was younger than Trey Hendrickson.
Trey and Max damn near the same age. They damn near want the same money too.
Max Crosby is 28, bro.
Impossible.
I'm looking right at it.
How the hell?
Trey Hendrickson is 31.
Now I got
Max is 28. It's a 3. I told you. Max is going to get that another big contract. He's going to, in the long run, he's going to be more expensive than Trey Hendrickson for like another 3-year deal.
Look, now I got to get Brogan Roback on the phone. Can't believe this, man. This is crazy.
I got Jimmy James said, as a Jets fan, I would like to be annoyed by that statement, but it's true.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah. Because, I mean, what are y'all really going to do with Kyler Murray? Come on now. Y'all can barely protect Zach Wilson.
Oh, man. GTB from Jay Melvin. Left, I saw a bunch of Ohio State fans angry at you when you posted a picture of Notre Dame's trophy room, not knowing we have more natties, All-Americans, draft picks, and same number of Heismans that they do.
Right. We live in the day's age of everything happened yesterday. So the history only goes as deep as last week. So Ohio State love to try to talk about the now. Yeah, you don't see Tulsa, you don't see these other schools trying to talk about you guys are one of the elite few right now. So yeah, you guys can talk because y'all beat us. But we talking about the landscape of college football here. The Virginias, the SMUs, the everybody else, the 90% of the field. Yeah, y'all can talk a little bit, but come on now. We really around here.
Before we get out of here, Left, great show. Thank you for everybody that hopped on, joined, gave a super chat or a GTB question. We appreciate you. Don't forget FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Audio edibles, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, courtesy of Bleav Network. You can follow us on social media, Instagram, X, TikTok at Lucky Lefty Pop, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. It helps with the views. We are the home of the misguided passion, forever committed to making sure that we spin it different. I got one. I'm going to clear the runway and ask this question, Left.
Yep.
Notre Dame has closed the gap as far as college football and getting closer to winning a national championship. Have they closed the NFL draft gap yet?
I think after Kyle Hamilton and Xavier Watts producing and Jeremiah Love going in with the potential of a CJ being a first rounder, we right in the mix. Talk about first round and not include Notre Dame at this juncture. We in there with Georgia's, the Florida's, the Ohio States. Not as many yet, but we in the mix in terms of the top 10, and that matters a lot. You used to see, 2 Ohio State guys go first 5 picks, 2 LSU guys go first 2 picks, but now Notre Dame's in the first 10. And now you add CJ could be a potential top 5. We moving up the ladder because all you need is one.
I would say this. My only response would make me say everybody except for Ohio State, who's going to have 3 players taken in the top 10 this year.
Caleb, who?
Arvell Reese,
Arnold,
Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, and Carnell Tate are all top 10.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Next year, Jeremiah Smith, top 10. Their defensive tackle, Caden McDonald, probably first round. So, Ohio State is just one of those factories right now. They are the factory right now.
Yeah, they got 4 for sure.
Yeah.
I like Caden McDonald. Yeah,
Caden McDonald, you're the next Chicago Bear. I'm just letting
Chicago
you know.
Bear. Yeah, he looked like a Chicago Bear.
For everybody else you found out a lucky lefty, you're the pick, my man. You're the pick.
I knew that. Ryan Poles, don't do it wrong, man. That's
get ready to bear down.
Obviously.
Get ready to bear down.
Alvin Reese might be. No. Well, Alvin Reese, because y'all letting go of Trayvon Edmonds, right?
No, we picked 25th, so with the Bears have no shot at getting a player like Arvell Reese.
But y'all got a lot of draft picks or something like that.
No, they're not trading up. Heck, we just lost our starting center. Drew Dowman just up and retired out of nowhere today. Just out of nowhere. Like, I'm done. Like, what?
Or it's Steve Elmer.
Like, dude, my boy on social media said, Ninja, you just got here. You just got here last year.
You just wanted to feel what winning was like. That's all.
Like, what are you talking about? You retired. Like, you're in the middle of a contract. But that man walked away from $10 million in signing bonuses, bro. So
yeah, he must be dealing with something.
yeah, whatever it is, it must be serious.
I am currently
I think they have closed the gap to the point that, maybe there's a miss here or there, but pretty much every year Notre Dame moving forward should have. Leonard Moore be top 10. If Tate Johnson comes out next year, he has a chance to be first round. Christian Gray, Drake Bowen would be day 2. Anthony Knapp has a chance to go in the draft next year. I mean, Notre Dame, and if KVA doesn't get hurt, he probably comes out next year very high.
Yeah,
Boubacar probably goes
day 3.
No,
he just got to have a year. He can. His scale
still day 2. Unless he just
I
comes
don't
out.
know. What are you seeing from KVA? Like, I haven't seen it yet.
Man, look, bro. I think KVA has the talent. KVA will be the type of kid that will go to the combine and wow people.
Adon is more of a day 2.
Adon's a day 2. Tay has a chance to be day 1. Leonard Moore's definitely top 10. Then you got the guys that transferred in, like a Francis Brew. What can he be? It's going to be interesting next year. I think they push the envelope even more. Heck, do they get 2 in the top 10 next year if CJ Carr wins the Heisman, Left? If CJ wins the Heisman next year, he's out, right? One would think. And you probably get 3 quarterbacks with him, Dante and Arch, in the top 10. Leonard Moore probably sneaks into the top 10. So that would be the year Notre Dame would get 2 top 10 draft picks. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. So yeah, I think they're on the verge of closing the NFL draft gap. I do. I think they're on the verge of closing it. Lucky Lefty podcast. Great show, Left. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 3:30 out there on the left coast, the best coast, as Left says it all the time. And we'll have much more to talk about. There's some big recruiting news that I have to talk about tomorrow. So that's tap right. In. That's but right. Left SD2 mics. Have a great Tuesday evening. But most of all, continue to love each other and make sure you continue to spin it different.